Today we're going to talk about why a steel building we think is the best option if you're trying to build your own house, where you can have your own house for the lowest possible price so you can get mortgage free, or even better, build it cash and carry as you pay for it as you go.
Let's go. Okay, so what we want to talk about is ending up with a sturdy, reliable house that is really cost effective. So you're just somebody that wants to build your own house for whatever reason, like we do. And then you're just looking for options. Like you just kind of don't know where to begin, and you're kind of mulling over, there's cement block, there's log cabins, there's steel buildings. I just think those are really sturdy houses, those three. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today.
Housing is like the biggest expense in your life, or one of the biggest expenses in your life. So if you can get that figured out and get that taken care of at a very low price, you're going to be so ahead in life. Because so many people, they start their life out with a huge student loan and a huge mortgage, and then you're done. You're just so swamped in debt. How can you ever dig your way out? And so what I've always focused on is finding out how to get your education for the lowest price possible and your housing for the lowest price possible.
So the key is to keep your cost way down, because in the end you want to be mortgage free as soon as possible with the best product, which would be your house at the end. So you got to put a little thought into it, because it's a big deal when your house is one of the biggest purchases you're going to make in your lifetime.
Right now what I'm doing is I built my own house myself out of wood, 2x4s. It's called a stick-built house. And so now I'm selling my house and we're moving. And what I want to do is build another house. I'm calling it my house version 2. Because I've learned a lot building my first house. So now I'm going to build my second house.
Better.
Having learned a lot. And we're going to share all that information with you. So I was thinking about doing another stick-built house out of 2x4s. I was looking at doing a log cabin like my mom did. I was looking at cement block. I was looking at a pole barn house. And also steel building houses. And after all my research and thinking about it and stuff, I think nothing's perfect. Everything has trade-offs, pluses and minuses. But I think for just getting a house strong, quick, and low cost,
And that you can do yourself. That's the key we're talking about
I think
here.
right now the winner is a steel building house. And we're going to tell you why in this video.
And I want to say, I do love the idea of a cement block house. That is a super sturdy house, and you could do it yourself. Like just mix the cement, slowly lay the block, get the plan, slowly lay the block. But the key is it's going to take so long. Where the steel building that he is talking about is going to go up much quicker, so you're going to be in there sooner. So that's why, in my opinion, the steel building wins out over the cement block house. The reason I think the steel building wins out over the log cabin kit is because of price, cost per square foot, and what you get.
Well, and also the log cabin is super nice, but if you're building it yourself, especially if you're a first timer, it's a lot of heavy lifting. It's like a puzzle. And I think, maybe I'm wrong, but hasn't the price of log cabins gone up?
It seems like they've gone, like the price of my kit, if I'm not mistaken, has quadrupled.
Yeah.
So it's not a deal anymore. When
Yeah.
I did it, it was a deal. So, it didn't matter how long it took me to build it. It was just strictly on money at that point. But I know building codes have also changed, and they want you to have the house built sooner to get your CO within, I don't even know how long, but I know that has shortened
Yeah,
from
you
when
can't
I did
be
it.
building forever.
3 years, basically.
It has to they want it done.
They want it done sooner. So that's another reason why a log cabin and a cement block house might not be as good of an option as the steel building house. Mm-hmm. Just in the time that it takes to put it up is much, much faster with the steel building. In my opinion, if I was going to start again and I was going to build a new house, but thankfully I'm not, I already scratched that itch in my life. So anyway, I would personally do a steel building. I would choose a 30 by 30. That would be the size I like. I think that's, I like to have enough room, but I don't like to have too much room to take care of. So to me, 800 square feet is perfect.
9.
Oh, would that be 9? Oh, okay.
Math. So let me just talk about why I think a steel building wins at this moment in time. And the first and biggest reason is blueprints. When you build your own house, you have to get a building permit from the county.
Stamped.
And that's a whole other thing about picking your county. And you can get her book, Becky's Guide to Buying Land, and learn all about that stuff, about picking a good county to build in.
That's like
But-
going to help you and be on your side, where
Yeah,
some
like
counties are picky, and they don't want that.
You're not building your own house in Miami-Dade County.
Yeah, they're like one.
You have to have a pro
Yeah.
crew down there,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's
So
besides the
picking
point.
where you live is a good,
But
smart thing. To
No
think
matter
about.
where you build, even if it's the most friendly to builders, you need blueprints
Mm-hmm.
and a building permit and all that stuff. Pretty much every steel building company out there, the price includes the blueprints.
Which have to be stamped by an engineer. That's
Yeah.
the key. Some of them will say they give you the blueprints, but they're not stamped blueprints.
So right there, in my opinion, that's about $5,000 worth.
Going towards the steel
Because
building
if you just
side.
hire an architect / engineer, you're looking at about $5,000.
Easy.
Easy. So whatever they quote you the price on the steel building, is it coming with the stamped blueprints?
And shop around, because some do.
That's $5,000. So if the price is $20,000, take off 5, you're really only paying 15.
Yeah, I was just browsing around, and I was looking at a company that says it comes with stamped blueprints. So that's a
Yeah.
plus. What that means is it will meet your building code for your county, your state, your area.
Yeah.
So
And-
that's why that's important, because they're all different.
And the second reason I like steel buildings, it goes along with the first reason. When the building department sees those blueprints, they're not going to be like, "Oh, what's this?"
They
'Cause
like it.
If you're like a homesteader like us, and we have a strong urge to build like a cool house, a unique house,
Artistic
a
kind
weird
of.
house. But the problem is, unless you're rich,
Yeah.
when the building department sees your blueprints for your weird house, they're going to be like, "What is this?" And they're going to want extra inspections and this and that. And
Lot
it's
of
going to be
questions.
a lot of questions.
I even had that with my log cabin. All the inspectors that came to my house, mine was the first log cabin
Yeah.
they inspected.
And
surprisingly.
That's what I learned on my house, version 1. It's kind of weird. And I had a lot of questions. And when the inspector comes out to inspect it,
They're
he's
like,
like, "What's this?" And
Does
you're-
it pass? Like, they just
Yeah.
haven't seen a lot of it, you know?
want to keep the weirdness down to a minimum when you're building yourself.
On the exterior. Once you get in there, you could do all the weird stuff on the inside.
So that could be taken in a wrong context.
Decorating, I'm talking
When you get the steel building, the structure, it's very cut and dry.
Yeah.
When they see the blueprints of the building department, they're gonna be like, "Yep, the beams go like this, and then the thing, the roof and the windows." It's very simple and cut and dry.
Easy peasy. That's what you want.
And then a steel building is an open floor plan. There's no beams or
Yeah.
pillars, so
Yeah.
you can lay out the inside however you want.
No supporting walls needed. So
Yeah.
it's supported on the outside walls, which is awesome, because then you can frame it out any way you want on the inside. And don't
And
forget,
change it in the future too.
yeah, like my cabin, I could tear all the walls down and start again if I want to. It's like you could do whatever, or have no walls. It's like whatever you feel like doing, because there's no load-bearing walls in there. Another thing where you might, hesitate, like, "Oh, well, it's kind of boring. It's just a square or rectangle." But don't forget, you can do porches, verandas, decks, patios, gardens.
Well, I'm gonna get to ways to make it less
Enhance it. You know what I
less
mean?
boring.
With your personality and your creative ideas,
And we're getting there.
which is so fun.
The third reason I like a steel building is to put up the actual structure. They say, "Oh, you could do it in a weekend." To me, that means you could probably do it in about a month.
Every day.
Yeah.
Working on it every day. It's never as fast as you think, especially when it's just you. It's not a crew. It's
So,
like harder.
My plan for me personally right now, the plan is I'm going to have a crew help me put up just the structure, and then I'm going to finish it out with all the framing and pipes and all the plumbing and electrical and all that stuff. So even if you did it yourself, or like me, I plan on having a crew help me just put the structure up. It's so much quicker and easier than any other building type, because once you have that cement slab foundation poured,
Let me interject this. That is another thing that speeds you up. Is a steel building goes on a slab. You don't have to build a stem wall or any kind of a special foundation. You can just have them come and pour a slab, which is really fast.
and
That's
I just
one
love
good thing.
I just love a slab foundation. It just feels so secure. that house ain't
Nice
going
and
anywhere.
sturdy. Yeah, it is nice, and it happens fast. That's the good part too. It's awesome.
Now, a steel building, if you look at a lot of them, especially if you like drive around and look at ones that are like garages, they're very boring and stuff. So what I'm doing to make mine not as boring and garage looking, I'm gonna have the roof, instead of being a pointy roof like this, which isn't that called a gable roof? I'm gonna have a shed roof where it's just one piece that goes to the front to the back. It's just
Which is a little more modern looking, especially if you have it, slanting back. Either way, though, you can have it slanting back and have big windows.
I'm
in
gonna
the
have
front.
the front of the house 10 feet high, and then the shed roof is gonna go back to 8 feet high.
Which can look very modern.
So
you
it's
can
gonna
do
look-
a lot
I
of
think it's
nice
gonna look like a-
modern windows up there.
Like a hipster artist loft.
Yeah, it just adds
But
a
in the
little
country.
interest. Yes, it adds a little interest.
And then I'm gonna have one big glass garage door, and then I'm gonna have a
So
regular
cool
door
that you can
on
open.
that 10-foot front. And so from the front, it's gonna look very cool. And then one day in the future, if I ever have the money, what's nice is you can face it. So I'm thinking maybe one day in the future, I'll hire a crew to come out and just face the front with some kind of dirty old reclaimed red brick.
It would look so
And
good.
so that'll look so good.
That's my idea. I say do the brick, but I personally would do the brick on the inside because I want to look at it every day. I'd have one big
Well, you could do
wall
both.
brick
You could do inside and out.
where the windows are. I think that would look so
And that's
good.
something that's like a luxury item you could do in the future. But up until that point, you have a very nice, sturdy house.
And the thing is, you can do that at your leisure. Like, you already have your CO, and so if that takes you 10 years, who cares? You're not going to get in trouble for that.
Yeah, you can just save up and have the... Because I think if the front was faced with nice dirty red brick, it would look very, very hipstery.
You could really make it
That
look
would just
good.
be such a cool house.
And you could face it with stone, brick, wood. That is how you're
Yeah,
going to
you
make
could do
it.
shiplap on the front and like hit it with chains and stain it. That you could have that kind of look.
Right.
or-
So that is how you're going to make it your own. So the building itself, don't worry if you're thinking, oh, that might be a little boring, a little plain. There are so many things you can do to spruce it up and really make it look so awesome and cool, and still have the benefit of having it up quick. It's up quick. You're in there fast.
Yeah, I think really the main thing that makes it look completely different though is the shed roof. Like that one detail
Yeah.
makes it look not like a garage.
Yeah. And if you live somewhere where there's a lot of snow and stuff, you can adjust the angle. So you could have a really steep roof on it.
Well,
There's
yeah, if you
other
live up
things you can
north,
do.
if you live up north, you might not be able to have a shed roof.
But whatever, you got to play around with
the opposite, here's the thing. The opposite of a shed roof, if I was lived in a place where there's lots of snow, I would get that roof as pointy as
it.
possible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Get it
What
pointy.
you don't want is the one that's just kind of pointy like this. That looks like a garage.
Kind of like my barn.
So I would want it as just as pointy as you can get it.
Yeah, that would
or
look good.
the shed roof. I think either way that'll look awesome.
Yeah, there's options that'll spruce it up a little bit. So don't worry about that. But I want to make the point that when you're moving to a homestead, and the number one thing you can do for yourself that's really going to save you a lot of grief, and I learned this the hard way, is the faster you're in your house, just the more stable you are to do all the other stuff you need to do. I mean, when you work hard all day and you have to like go sleep in a tent and you're like cooking your food over a fire, like that is hard. That is exhausting. So really, the quicker you can get in that building and just, get a good night's sleep, get a bath and a good meal and relax, just the better and faster you're going to build the rest of your homestead.
Because there's a lot of homestead houses people build themselves. You see on YouTube, you can search around. People will build like those wooden sheds that they'll deliver to your house. They'll build
yeah.
houses in those, which in some counties is legal if you get the blueprints and the engineer to
Oh
sign off on
yeah,
it.
some of them they'll make the shed so
But
it meets code.
I've looked at the price of those things. Some are more expensive than a steel building. So when you compare the price of those wooden sheds, I've been in a couple of them. I always feel claustrophobic in them for whatever reason. I think they have
the
low
walls
ceilings.
the walls
and
are short.
and I just don't like the vibe in those things. They're just
When you look at the ones that are out there on display, you just pull over. The walls are short; they're not 8 feet. So if you custom order one that's built to code with taller walls, the price goes way, way up, and then that's where it's like not worth it.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
better off doing the steel building.
You're not. They're very pricey, those things, because I don't know why they're pricey. And so then that goes along with the last point of why we love a steel building currently. Very, very customizable. What you can do is you call your county building department and you ask, what is the minimum house size to build? Some counties it's 600 square feet, some it's 8. Well, you can call up the steel building company and say, well, I need an 800 square foot steel building, and just get the minimum size, and you can
25
get
by
that.
25.
Pay that thing off, be mortgage free, and go from there. You could always add on. You could always
Yeah.
sell it and move like we are.
Spruce it up, like make it so cute where you could sell it easy, or you're gonna make it so nice that you're gonna be like, I don't want to move. I'm so happy here. So you just have so many options. So that is our pick of the day, of the year, or what, however you want to say it, is a steel building.
Things change. Who knows? Maybe in a couple
Yeah.
of years, the price of steel will quadruple, and maybe a stick-built house will be the best option, or who knows?
And you
But-
got to kind of swing with that, like whatever it is,
Yeah.
whenever it's your time, if you want to be
And
efficient.
I think we should say this because people might ask in the comments. When we say a steel building, we do not mean shipping containers, because shipping containers are very expensive, and I think that's like a rich person thing.
And you don't really get a lot for your money.
No.
That's the thing. With a steel building, you get a lot of space for your money.
And
A
I read
shipping
in-
container is steel, but you don't get a lot of space.
And I read an article written by an engineer about building a house out of steel shipping containers, and he said in there that there's such a pain in the butt that as soon as you pierce the skin, it like tweaks out of shape. So you gotta really know what you're doing with those shipping containers if you're gonna turn it into a house.
Because the skin like holds everything
Yeah.
together.
And they'll tweak and pop out of shape and spring. And so I've noticed that I think shipping container houses is really like a rich person thing where they just got, money's no object, just have the workers build it.
I did have a little interested for a second there, though. I was like, that looks a little intriguing. But then the more I looked into it, I'm just like, it's not the greatest thing to live in. It's kind of hard to work on. It's not cheap. It's pricey. You need more than one, and it
It's
ends up
definitely
not
not
being
cheaper.
like the best deal at all.
It's definitely not cheaper because you have to cut everything out. You got to fabricate a lot of parts, where the steel building is a kit. It comes with everything, and you just put that together.
Yeah.
If you want to learn more, you can get her book, Becky's Guide to Buying Land. And we should really write a book like Becky's Guide to Building Your Own House. We should write that book, but we didn't do that yet. So this video will have to do. But get Becky's Guide to Buying Land, because you cannot build your own house unless you are in a good county, at a good price, that's not in the flood zone, that doesn't have an easement. And if you don't know what those
don't
words
tell
mean,
everything.
if you don't know what those words mean, you got to get the book and read it, because that book will save you. It'll pay for itself 100 times over.
Yeah, I try to point out a lot of things that are super important, like big deals. I'm
Deal
not
breakers.
trivial. I'm not trivial. Like, who cares? That's personal taste. I try to point out things that are a big deal and that matter when you're looking for land and you want to build a house to help you so you don't make mistakes.
Click the like button and share this video with a friend. Bye.
Bye-bye.